Hey, what's good, people? How you doing? I'm Juice Warner. This is Old York Gritty Grand Strains, and we are finishing up on our book, The Master's Carpet Bone, where we're at the appendix now. So before we get into it, I would like to ask you, please hit that notification, hit that bell so you can know when new content is being uploaded. Hit that subscription button and hit that subscribe to the notification and the bell. You know how it go, man. You gotta hit that stuff, man. I don't be, you know what I'm saying? I don't be knowing, man, but you know what it is. All you gotta do is hit it, say, yo, you know what? Not like what you bring to the table. What you bring to the table is official, and it helps me out. All you gotta do is hit it. You know what I'm saying? Hit the like, hit the notification, and hit that bell. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, by the way, I'm having a giveaway. This is my cup, Old York Gritty. Well, on this side is the Old York Gritty, and on this side is I Gritty New York. I'm giving this cup away, not this exact one right here. You'll get a brand new one to the 200th subscriber, and that's from any one of my content pages, as well as getting a copy of my book, Street Scalzi, Knock 'em Out the Box, where this is a murder mystery with two brothers from opposite sides of the law who have to team up in order to find their father's killer or killers, whatever the case may be. It's a murder mystery. You should read it, check it out. It's on Amazon Books right now, Lulu, and many other platforms. So let's get into this right here. So, when we was up in, I believe, this probably was chapter 2. Well, anyway, the note on that is note A, page 27. So all you got to do is go back up to page 27. In the following manner is admitting the new members into a tribe of gypsies, together with the oath and articles as administered by the principal manor or roguish stoller. See Fellow Mysteries, page 224. This is important, okay? It goes, the name of the person is first demanded, and a nickname is then given him in its stead, by which he is ever after called. Now, we know this to be almost in any street activity, right? And as you know, so these are the indoctrinations into this new world, right? Into this new world, this is the name that you have been given. So this is what you'll be called. Don't want to use your government name that's off the record once you go through this right here, right? And called, and in time of his other name is ever after called. In a time his other name is quite forgotten. So basically your real name becomes forgotten because you have taken this new name persona. It's just like when we think about they talk about joining the Illuminati and music, I had a different personality. Well, this is your new persona. My government name is Malik, right? So my persona is Juice Warner. So after a while, it just becomes Juice Warner or Juice, or you understand what I'm saying? To where that becomes your name until you bring it full circle if you are able to, right? But that's basically what it is. Then standing up in the middle of the fraternity and directing his face to the Dimber Damber, or prince of the gang, he swears in this manner as as is directed to him by one of the most experienced. I, Crank Cuffin, do swear to be a true brother, and will in all things obey the commands of the great Twani Prince, and keep his counsel, and not divulge the secrets of my brethren. I will never leave nor forsake this company, but observe and keep all the times and appointments, either by day or night, and in any place whatsoever. I will not teach anyone to cant, nor will I disclose, argue of our mysteries to them, although they flog me to death. Now I did a reference, on this dialogue on how you're able to communicate, and how you are sworn not to reveal this dialogue. Now we see this in the gang culture as well, so we understand that while they're thinking that they're creating something, for the most part you'll hear this wild story, but in reality these new Masonic organizations changing so it cannot be identified throughout its youth, meaning that the youth will think that it has no association, or has to be recognized by the old fraternity. This is the new thing, and this is how they are able to cause confusion and strife, right? Because like Jesus, I didn't come to unite the people. I came to have father against son, and daughter against mother. You understand what I'm saying? This system was set up in that place, right? Hold on, let me make sure that I have my pardon me here real quick. I got this green let me see, making sure. Okay, saying it's on. Let me see. Let's see. Okay, so maybe I could do it now. Is it on now? Okay. So we got that. All of the platforms. If you're seeing it right now, all you gotta do is, drop a comment or whatever, and it'll pop up. But so as we're saying, inside of these organizations, that one would feel is reality only, like we discussed in the last chapter. You can have 20 men, but only 3 of them would actually know what is going on, just like we're saying here with the Dumbadeer and these type, the heads, they know. Right now, the others, they joined into a system, so they don't know what is really being taken place. They don't know who's really behind it. They just know the this history and dialogue that was put on it, whether it be a modern twist or an ancient twist, like saying that, oh, the group that we're in, this goes back to the such and such times, right? Or, we're modern now, we starting off and this is what we doing now, either way, and it's in, rest in peace, and you have these elements that build a structure. Pardon me here. Oh man, I ain't got no more. I thought I had at least one more. Yeah, okay. I ain't gonna smoke right now then. What I was just saying. So, they have this structure, and this structure is what, you're taught. Like if you was paying attention to what I was reading, even if, I might have not been, but if you was able to actually go download the book, the PDF, and read it, you would see how it was giving you the format on starting this system up yourself, right? Where you have X amount of people, they are your henchmen, should we say, right? And then everybody else is just fall in line, and they are not necessarily in it, but they not the other guys either, right? So this system is like a church or whatever the case may be. You have, like it was explaining, so you have your crew on this side, but you ain't doing nothing until you convince X amount of people. So you wouldn't want all of these people knowing how to do it, because then everybody would be like, hey, I could rock that. You understand what I'm saying? As we went through and other shows that we did, these things was covered, as in like spirituality and these organizations breaking off, and this is how these conflicts will come into play, because it's a fight over the mental. So it's showing you how to line the people up within this through this deceptive way. And if you follow these steps, you succeed, and so you can eat off of them without having to, be the cutthroat ruffian and all of that. Not to say that you ever stop being that, right? I will not teach anyone to cant, nor will I disclose aught of our mysteries to them, although they flog me, stone me to death. I will take my prince's part against all that shall oppose him, and any of us according to the utmost of my ability, nor will I suffer him or any belonging to us to be abused by any stranger, Abrams, ruffers, hookers, etc., but will defend him or them as much as I can against all other outliers, whatever. I think it's supposed to be look like outlawyers, but like outlaws, outliers, right? Whatever. I will not conceal aught I win out a limpkin or from the rough men, but will preserve it for the use of the company, meaning that anything is always used inside. It's never just putting people on and giving them, this trade. Now you got to understand what's happening right now. We're at a time of no trust, right? As we were going through these chapters, that was being installed. That was the main purpose of, you had the church and all of that, like you can give confessions and these type of things. But now moving into like a communist system, you taking away all the trust. Everybody, like we see it today with the Young Thug trials and all of this type of stuff. We hear it in the music. We hear the distrust, the echoing. That's the message that's being given to the people as we say this word. So throughout this, right, while they're installing one system, they're taking away the trust, because once, like, say we look at this system back in the 80s, right? Let's say the 80s, and we look at the mob scene, and we seen how they were moving, right? And then we seen, the noose being put on them, and Nevada and all of this being run down on, and so basically the wiping out of that system, right? And so those who didn't elevate into different areas, the construction, the waste management, and how they had all of these other areas within a local scene to still hold a grip. You understand what I'm saying? Within the things that can, basically lock down a system. You understand what I'm saying? If anybody can, basically get a garbage truck and become a garbage man, right? But now you're coming into a system that they already had locked down. Now you see this problem, you know what I'm saying? So it goes, the cantors have, it seems, a tradition that from the 3 first articles of the oath, the first founder of a certain boastful, worshipful fraternity who pretends to derive their origin from the earliest times, borrowed of them both the hint and from their establishment, and that their pretended diversion from the first Adam is a forgery, it being only from the first Adam, Tyler. Right? Then it goes, the same author has given the meaning of the cant terms here used as follows: Abram, shabby, baggers, rufflers, notorious rogues, hookers, petty thieves, lumpkins, a house to lie in, rough men, the woods or bushes, Adam, Tyler, the commander of a pickpocket who receives stolen goods or money and scores off with them. If you understand, through what was just being said, this was basically what was, what they were describing, right? So this same author, right, has given the meaning of the cant terms here used as follows, right? Abram, shabby beggars, right? Rufflers or notorious rogues, hookers or petty thieves, lumpkins, a house to lie in, right? Rough men, the woods or bushes. Abram Tyler, the commander of a pickpocket, right, who receives stolen goods or money and scores off with them, right? So we understand this system is a criminal scheme, right? And so you are trained how to appear within a certain level that you might be able to appear in, but within this you are basically a traveling man. You traveling this rough and rugged road of having to build your followers, right? Getting those people to understand what you are attempting to convey. Right? So that's what you have been learning. If you've been paying attention to this, this is what you have been learning. Like in the Bible, when you see Moses, right? He's telling that whole Exodus is law, because you know the book is broken into 3 areas. So in the book of laws is how to move and operate. So if you're looking and you're reading Exodus, you would know how they moved and operated, right? When we hear Exodus and we talk about, I really hate giving some of these jewels out, within certain aspects, meaning that information over here, I like to have it all within that. I hate to, people jump on, they get a piece of it, and they, so anyway, when we look at, excuse me, when we look at Moses, right, and we understand now, a lot of people would be like, they spent, 40 years, in the desert, right? But they missed it was 40 years, right? Yeah, they missed, the message, right? Now, mind you, we're going to get into that because the gypsy, we're going to look into, gypsy, but they missed the message of the smoke and fire, giving this impression that, if you looking from a distance and you're seeing this, you would be under the impression that they were, causing mass chaos and mayhem over in these other places, right? Smoke and by fire by night and smoke by day. So either way, you're seeing this and you're under this impression, right? So now we're up to note B, and this is on page 38. So everything that I'm giving is just a rundown so you can understand when we connect the two. Is like, okay, things were being said. Now, if you wasn't paying attention, it was an indirect conversation, right? As an apt illustrated of the practical working of the Masonic charity, even to the dead brother, the following is copied in full form and voice of Masonry for June 1879, page 478 and through 480. Sad disregard to Masonic duties, E. Sir Williams request for Masonic burial disregarded, right? One of the saddest events within our knowledge of Masonry is the Knights Templarism, is that which we now have to record. It pains us exceedingly to speak of it, but duty to the dead and to the living cannot now be wavered. There are times when silence is golden, and we devoutly wish that there were such a time, but it is not. The command of duty is imperative, and we must obey it. There are other times when mere expedience may prevail and govern, but it cannot, for any irresponsible injury has been done to Masonry, and especially the Knights Templarism. The right of Masonic burial has been willfully disregarded, and not to rebuke the uncharitable, unviolent, and unmanageableness act would greatly imperil the present and future prosperity of the entire fraternity. Therefore, while the voice would gladly spread over this unmasonic deed in broad mantle of charity and forever shut it from moral view, it cannot, dare not. So you see, like, yeah, sure, Masonry would normally like try to find a way, to act like it didn't happen, like, hey, it ain't my business. But the problem is, if they didn't react and show this camaraderie, the whole system would collapse, right? So where we at here? Now let us state the facts as we see and understand them. For years past, Emerson Sir Williams Rosenveld was a constant sufferer from the partial paralysis caused by overwork and paralysis. Thank you. Okay, work and behalf of his family, his church, and Masonic fraternity, never receiving compensation for his services that embedded him to make provision for a time of distress about 3 years since he found himself almost destitute and would have died of what rather than have called on the fraternity for the assistance to which he was entitled. So great was his honor of being in any way dependent on what might be esteemed charity. A visit of his son-in-law, Mr. G.S. Nape, to him in Perio then revealed his need of aid. Mr. Nape immediately made arrangements to remove Brother Rosenveld and his wife and daughter to Chicago and there to provide for them as best he could in his own then stranded circumstances. And this he was aided by Brother Rosenveld's son, William, now a young man past 20 years of age. Brother Roundsonville, I hope I'm saying whatever way you see it right there. Roundsonville was unable to perform any manual labor, and his only way of earning anything was by his writing and the voice, for which he was paid in advantage of $10 monthly. Knowing his need of help from the fraternity, we called attention to the fact and the voice and appealed by letter to the brethren in Peoria for aid to him, and they responded. We thought then and still think he should have received aid from the Grand Lodge Charity Fund, and we so wrote the then Grand Master and received the response that then the Masonic bodies to which Brother Roundsville belonged had extinguished their ability to contribute to his relief. Then the excuse me, my nose is itching, Lodge could and would aid him, which was all right as a rule, but exceptions had been made promptly and without hesitation, and caused no more meritorious, and thus the precedent for aid to him had been established, and it should have been granted. The trait in his character already alluded to, and his desire that we should say no more of his need in the voice and let him suffer rather than burden the craft in Peoria, deterred us from further public efforts to procure him Masonic assistance. During all this time, Mr. Nape and his son William were doing all in their power, and their earnings came by their daily labor, not from business or landed estates. Yeah, I think it's this mic thing. It goes estates or government bond to render Brother Roundenville's condition and comfortable and pleasant as possible. They did their whole duty while the Masonic fraternity did not do theirs. For the latter, there is the excuse that many were not aware of Brother Rosenfeld's residence in Chicago, nor of his pecuniary or physical distress, and this partly accounted for the inattention shown him both before and after his death. In the latter part of April last, Brother Roundsville had an attack of epilepsy from which it was believed he would recover, but early in May, the paralytic trouble complicated his case so that it became apparent he could no longer survive. Monday morning, May 5th, it was evident his death was near at hand. The dearest wish he had concerning his body had been expressed to his friend, Sir John B. Gavin, and Hetherin proceedings to do his part towards fulfilling it. He and William Roundenville Jr. to our office, and not finding us in, left word, which not being given to us as received, entirely misled us, and the consequences was